What's up, everybody? Welcome back into the 40HS Dynasty Trade Show. Today, we're going to talk about Jahmyr Gibbs and how is he built differently. He's just different. He's like a Ferrari, a Lamborghini, a Mercedes. He's an import. But first and foremost, Adam, you know what to do. Hit that intro.
Boring.
40 chess. Yeah. 40 chess. 40 chess. Let's get it.
Yo, is that T-Dog?
40 chess. 40 chess. Hey. 40 chess. This a trade show. Patreon where the trades go. Tap in and watch. That's what you came for. Ain't gotta say my name. They know my name, bro.
What's good, man?
We got McNutted in ATM. Always start off the show with a trade from them. You should always make sure that your trade is in Patreon. Why not be a Patreon? Know you wish you could spend every day with them. Tap in and say what you gonna say with them. South Harmon can fill up a stadium. Next time you log in, make sure that you bring a friend. We about to kick off, let the day begin. Go follow the socials. 40 Chess FF is posted. If your trade is an F, you get roasted. Go like and subscribe for the crew. Apple, Spotify, and the YouTube. You know Cooper got the warp too. Let us give you a walkthrough. 40 Chess. This is 40 Chess.
All right. What an intro. Adam, buddy, how you doing today? We got some trades to talk about. We're going to talk about a little Jahmyr Gibbs, right? We're going to kick the show off, I think, with a Jahmyr Gibbs trade.
Jahmyr Gibbs, I was inquiring, and you never know with a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs. He's somebody that people were afraid to buy. I was even a little like, I don't know, Gibbs, this Montgomery thing, and he did so much with the workload when Montgomery was out for that short period of time that you knew that Campbell wasn't going to be able to go away from him. So since then, it's a lot different trying to buy him. Like in the streets, Mike, I've noticed it's not child's play anymore. You got to come with a decent offer and even be in the ballpark. So let me just give you the context as I pull this up here. All right, so I get Jahmyr Gibbs in this deal. So this is a 12-team Superflex, half PPR, half-point tight end premium. Now I want you to just follow the settings here because this is why we have Warp Tools, and this is why we talk so much about settings. It's a half PPR, and it's a half tight end premium. So right now, half PPR is a downgrade for the receivers. I'm not saying they're irrelevant, but it's a downgrade, right? Half point tight end premium means that the tight end premium is not really enough to like warrant, craziness for the position, right? We talk about all the time. It's got to be like at least 0.75. But then notice it's 0.2 points per carry at the same time. It's also 6 point per passing touchdown, which I did tell Blitz, in fairness, it'd be a lot to add to this. So with the best ball start 12, the reason I'm bringing that up, what does that tell you? That quarterbacks run the league, and then right after that, the most important thing that you want is a running back, right? Because the receivers are down, and they're very replaceable in a half PPR. And then a half-point tight end premium, you want to have them in the very elite territory, or you just want to have a bunch of shitters, right? Like, we know that. And honestly, frankly, for cost, we'd probably just rather have a bunch of shitters in this format. So the two positions, and the one time I will pay probably more than I need to for running backs is going to be in a format like this, right? Like this is where we'll still pay. We know that they matter in best ball, but given this format, like I really wanted to go get a top end running back to hammer home this push to try to win a title. So I Mike, before this last game, like I just want to talk about recency bias for a second because it's shocking to me how today's game is so week to week for how people value players. Before this last game, I'm basically hitting up MPH, who he basically said everyone's off the table because he's trying to win. And I'm like, all right, I'll see you in a couple weeks because I could tell he wasn't going to make the playoffs. Nothing against you, Mike, if you're listening to this. I just, had to see that. So he finally is out mathematically. And I'm like, all right, so are you willing to talk and this and that? Talk to him about Gibbs. I basically made a similar offer to this, but I actually added Cam Akers and another late round pick. He basically wanted my 26th first, which is the only other first I have left on this team. And at that point, I was kind of like, it's not even about the fact that I'm losing the 26th first. That's too much value for me.
Right.
As much as I love Gibbs, I'm just not sending you, because this 24 second, what you're seeing here, let me read the trade actually for everyone on podcast. It's Jahmyr Gibbs and Pop Douglas, Tomorrow Douglas. I'm receiving. I'm sending away a 24 first from Caddy Pusher, who is going to make the playoffs, but is definitely one of the wild card teams. That's a locked in 201, 202 pick right there. All right, and then there's a couple fours. So we're talking almost like. If you tell me it's a locked-in 201, 202, that's like a late first, personally, in my opinion, especially what we know about the 24 class. So, I'm already feeling like I'm sending him the 2 first in value. I told him straight up, if you don't want that 24 second, I'll give you my 26 first instead, but I can't give you all 3. So we kind of walk away. We walk away from the table like it's not going to happen. He says, let me know if you change your mind. Mike, the reason I bring this up is this offer gets sent to me as we're on that stream Sunday. So it's me, you, Maddie, and Cody on the stream. This gets sent to me, and I'm like, wow. You told me hit you up when I want to send you those 3 picks, and I wasn't going to do it. Like, he had a down game. Like, he had, 9 touches? A little bit of a cold game amidst a crazy run. And all of a sudden, it's like, okay, maybe he's not like God, I guess is what he's thinking or something. And he sends me this offer back, which is actually a little lighter than what I offered initially. So we get the deal done. So I guess we're out of time for that to happen anymore for people that have a trade deadline. But people get really hot and cold on players. So if you try to buy someone at the peak of their rise, you may have a hard time. Like, be patient with buying players is kind of the theme I'm telling you here. You never know how people are going to change their values. But if you're making a push, Mike, do you like the side of the deal I'm getting? Do you think I paid too much? Do you think it's right? Do you like it for both sides? Like, give me your thoughts with all the context poured out to you.
This is a warp question for you, League, right? And I will ask most people this general question here. Would you pay 2 late, guaranteed late, right? One of them's actually the 201, right? 202, like you said, Adam. Would you pay that and the 111, 112 for a top 12 quarterback in this league? Right? Just think about your league, Superflex league, 12 team. The answer for most 12? People is going to be yes.
Yes. Yeah. Me personally, in this team build, I wouldn't because I already had 4. But yes, 1,000% to the question you're asking generically, 100% I would pay that.
Now, as far as warp goes for this league, Jahmyr Gibbs is basically a back-end QB1 for the last 5-6 weeks, however you want to put it out there, right?
Yeah.
The one thing about Jahmyr Gibbs, Adam, I really like is what I tell you before the season, and I'm sure I told the listeners too on a show or two. Jahmyr Gibbs is basically DeAndre Swift without the injury concerns. DeAndre Swift's best year in Detroit, 16.1 fantasy points per game. Best year, right? He was RB8. Jahmyr Gibbs, best year, his rookie year so far, 16.2 fantasy points per game. RB8.
Yeah.
Oh, cha-ching. Mike hit the jackpot, right? Jahmyr Gibbs is that dude. He's just built differently. He's just that kind of dude, right?
Yeah.
Where it doesn't matter, and this is no shot against David Montgomery. I think David Montgomery in Detroit is completely fine. He has a great role.
Absolutely.
He is scoring a lot of touchdowns. I think they are a
warp in
perfect
this league.
complement.
I was just going to say, because to your point, I'm accentuating the point you're making here. From 10 to 13, I filtered out just on the side here. Like, warp, David Montgomery's 5, Jahmyr Gibbs is 7 in this league.
Perfect compliments.
Exactly. And to the point you're making, okay, so yes, they are below the quarterback line, right? But it's, when you look at the rest of the positions, those are the two that by and far and away, you're like, if you had the quarterbacks, that's where you'd shoot first. But it's going to cost you more. We all know that. If you don't have it in this format, the next line you want's that green line. I got big news for you. And the reality too is, for the year, Mike, the top player in warp in this league because of the scoring is Chris McCaffrey.
Built different.
Yep.
Built different. So if you're telling me I can send what's essentially 2 guaranteed late first for a guy who's basically giving me the same warp as a top 12 quarterback in this league with his scoring, who's a rookie, who's already outdoing what DeAndre Swift, who is a prospect I absolutely loved, we loved multiple years into his career, is outdoing him already. when most of his production has been at the second half of the year, right? Remember the first half of the year where we're going like, oh,
True.
shit, is he going to get a role? Like, Dan Campbell hates this fucking guy. Why did you take him with the top pick?
Right.
This is nuts. This is nuts. I want Jahmyr Gibbs all day. And, Adam, you're telling me it's a best ball league.
Yes.
Pop Douglas, essentially, like I would pay the first and the second in this, no question, for Jahmyr Gibbs by himself.
Yes.
Even in a best ball league.
Would you pay 2 fours for Pop Douglas? That's the question.
In a fucking heartbeat.
Okay. So
I'm not even the biggest Pop Douglas fan. Like, it took me a week plus to actually name him Pop Douglas instead of DeMario.
I remember being, on the road. I was in Pittsburgh, and I remember people asking, blink twice if you're okay. And I couldn't do it. And you were like, I'm not calling him Pop Douglas that week. I remember vividly. And he went off that week, and you're like, all right, he earned the name Pop. So
fine.
Here's the thing. Kendrick Bourne's out. I know Pop Douglas is not necessarily someone that's going to mean anything. He could not mean fuck all next year, right? But the role he has, where he's at, given the best ball principles, I know that Pop Douglas actually, Mike, it's funny when he's wanting to. At the point when we're making counters back and forth, I basically told him, like, we're DMing a little on the side. I said, I can give you the 2 first. I'll give you the 26 and the 24. I'll even add these later picks. I can't give you all 3. But if I do that, like, I need something back. It doesn't have to be a part of your long-term plans, but I need something back. I'm like, let me see if I can find it. Pop Douglas was the guy. So in fairness to him, he remembered that, and this is why he sent it back in this construction. But to your point, man, yeah, like, that's exactly how I looked at the trade. The 24 first, Mike, he could lose in the first round. It could be 107. He could also win a game or two and be in the championship, and it's 111. Yeah. I'm comfortable with that mid to late first with no chance of being a top 6 pick at this point, and the early 201 for Gibbs. It's steep, but I also know, like, I'm not going to get Gibbs at this point. Not steep. I tried all year. It didn't happen. I'm going to have to pay up for Gibbs. I'm good with it. Yeah. I'll pay up for him here. Pop Douglas for the force. Mike, I'm trying to go win a title, man. You can kiss my ass with those fours. Like, I want to go win. So, I made the trade.
What's crazy to me, like, think about it, too. Like, I give you those warp numbers for the last 5 weeks. This last week we had, nobody's talking about it. But as far as fantasy points goes, that was Jahmyr Gibbs' worst week of the season.
Well, no, that's exactly my point, though. That's why I think, Mike, it was crazy, just the timing of it. Mike, I shit you not. It's Saturday night going into the Sunday games where he's like, I need the 26 first basically included in this package. Or there's no deal. He goes out and puts 7.5 points up in this league, which is juice to the running back. So he had a bad week. He sends me the offer back. Like, Mike, I hope everybody is hearing me when I say that was the edge. That was what happened. If he had a great week, Mike, this offer I don't think comes to me. And sometimes it is what it is. But if you can find I think it hammers home a point for me, Mike, no matter who the player is, sometimes you have to buy low when it feels uncomfortable. Now, Jahmyr Gibbs, it shouldn't feel uncomfortable for you. But when they're off a down week or two, like, they're not the sexiest of buys. Nico Collins, for example, he started great. Mike, when he was hurt and not playing well and everyone else was doing well, we're like, I don't know if Nico's the greatest. That was your window to buy Nico Collins. Like, that sometimes is the time to go buy. So, anyway.
Jahmyr Gibbs, man, just think about this, too. He had to stretch at one point this season. He's RB3, RB1, RB2, RB3. Back to back to back to back. As a rookie. Yes. As a rookie. That's like Jonathan Taylor level.
Yes, it is. For sure.
Holy Santa Claus shit.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing with Gibbs is, Mike, I love even how good he can be in the role that he's currently in with Montgomery, right?
Splitting work, right?
We've seen if there's ever the opportunity down the road where he gets the lion's share, no pun intended, the lion's share of the backfield.
Yes.
Literally the sky's the limit, so Mike, I'll say it this way. What the tiebreaker for me too was, like, if this ends up being the 107 and the 201, like, during the 24 draft, it could feel steep, but given the format, what am I going to be probably drafting at 107 and 201? 2 receivers, right? or taking a shot on a Travion Henderson or whoever I think is the running back one in the class, which I don't know that they're going to get any work. I don't foresee in this class in 24 a running back that's going to give me the longevity of Jahmyr Gibbs, which was kind of the tiebreaker for me to go ahead and pull the trigger. So that's why I did it in the format, man. He's built different. I'm ready, man. Let's go.
We were with that pun that you just used. We were trying to figure out the thumbnail for this show, right?
Okay.
Jahmyr Gibbs built different. Jahmyr Gibbs built different. And I said maybe use a Ferrari logo.
Yeah.
Right. Like maybe we use a Ferrari. Put Jahmyr Gibbs. That's too complicated. We can't do that. Adam, you know what I do? You know what you do? You take the Ferrari logo, the yellow, the black, right?
The red, yeah.
You put the Lions logo inside of it
instead
of the horse.
I like that. Done.
How about
Done.
that? You said lion share. Jahmyr Gibbs. It's just perfect. It just works out all right that way.
I love that. All right. It's going to be a, that'll be a little like blueprint next to each other, but when it's done, it's going to look, I hope it's going to look great. So we're going to go for it, man.
You got it. You got it.
We got
I trust you.
Still a work in progress, but this one we'll make sure is right. It's Jahmyr Gibbs, man. All right.
WIP.
So, Slemno is getting A.J. Brown and Mike Evans, all right? 2 receivers. Sending away essentially Joe Burrow, but a laundry list of excess is going with it. So it's Joe Burrow, Trey Palmer, Cedric Tillman, A.T. Perry, and 3 fourths in 2024. Kind of amazing to me that there was a little bit of a hoard going on with 4th-round picks here from Slenmo, but nonetheless, 3 fourths going away. Mike, so Joe Burrow. By the way, let me just read the settings because when you read the settings, especially, it's 12-team Superflex, PPR, half tight and premium. It's a lineup start 11 league. Okay, it's a lineup league. These receivers, they're all fucking fugazi, man. They're all roster clogger types. If they hit, cool. Like they're just so far down the list, I don't care. It's not best ball. And then the force, I'm not gonna act like force are zeros, but they're not much above that, frankly, for me. So here's the question, Mike. The excess in the Burrow, it really comes down to Burrow, the quarterback, while hurt, or going to get a title and pivoting to receivers where you're not getting a quarterback back. You're getting A.J. Brown, a top weapon, short and long term, and you're getting a short term stud in Evans. So where are you at, buddy? Talk to me.
I mean, in reality, for the warp for this league, Mike Evans has basically been a top 8 quarterback, right? Like if you think about it. Long-term dynasty value, like I'm fully on board with Thunder. But this is one of those trades where like if I'm Slim No and if I'm okay at quarterback, I hate so much when people have a very, very good squad and they just turtle up. Oh, I'm thinking about 24, or I'm thinking about 25. Like I could really use Joe Burrow.
Yeah, when you have a team that's ready to win right now, exactly.
Right. Like you know what you won't care about? Like 24 or 25 if you win the 2023 Dynasty Football Championship of your league. And then you go to your league safe and you're like, "Oh, look at this, $600." Right? Oh, shit, that's nice. You know what I don't give a fuck about? 24, 25. Fuck y'all. I'm playing for free.
Listen, in Dynasty we care about all the years, but the years in the future can always be foregone if I get to win right now. It should be in Dynasty that way. I don't know how it ever got to the point where it's not that way. Now, if you're not ready to go, I understand not making this trade, okay? So like if you're not really ready to win this year, you don't want to make this trade because you're not really next year going to be in a position to win, and this year you're probably not either. Fine. But I guess, Mike, can you pull it up? We'll see if you can, multitask right now. Are you able to see, is the quarterback room stable enough to sustain this? That's honestly my question, because if the answer is yes, listen, I'll talk quarterback horde till I'm blue in the face, but this is a trade I'll approve if you had the quarterback depth to go win a title, For
sure. And Slum knows a very, a hard guy to trade with.
I knew what you were. I knew where you were going with this. I expected you to give me the second option. He's an asshole initially, but
He's a fucking asshole, man.
I think there's three ways to say it. You want to say it nice? He's a a savvy particular trader. Mike's point, he's a difficult guy to trade with. And then the last one, he's a fucking asshole.
So it's a lineup. It's a lineup league, first and foremost. He's rocking Justin Herbert. He's rocking Baker Mayfield. He's fine. Some options, right? Mitchell Trubisky, he's got, maybe you just picked him up. Maybe you already had him on his roster. But that's his third quarterback right now.
All right. I mean, given what we know with Pickett, like, listen, is it the picture-perfect quarterback room? No. But in a 4-week sprint, can that work? 100%.
Well, lineup start 9. You could start up to 4 wide receivers.
Correct.
10 would be 5. 11 would be 6.
Yeah, you can start 6 receivers in here as long as there's only 2 running backs. You can start 6 receivers in this league. Exactly.
Hammer A.J. Brown. Now, in the last 5 weeks, as far as WARP, Mike Evans is obviously better than him. Like, Mike Evans has been.
Mike Evans has been on God mode lately. So.
Okay. DK Metcalf. What did we just see? That's his other wide receiver. 2.
Oh my gosh, and he's got the Koopa thing going.
Keenan Allen.
Oh.
Okay. Devontae Adams. Mike Evans. That's 5.
I can I tell you why I really, really like it then? I really, really like it because if you already are rocking Adams and Keenan Allen, Mike, do you know what you should never be doing? Ever with those 2 guys? I'm ready. I want to win in 2025. Fuck you.
Nailed it.
No, you have 2 aging receivers that are not promised to give you the warp they're giving you now. Both of them weekly have a chance to go bananas. And you have Herbert and Keenan Allen on a stack with that going on. You have got to go try to win right now. And I think as much as you'd love to have Burrow and you got Burrow and Herbert plus those guys, sure. Hey man, I want to win. And I think I think in the lineup start 11 league, giving up a top 5-7 quarterback and not getting a quarterback back at all is painful no matter the situation. But I'll tell you how you make it not very painful is when you win that money.
And you get a couple hammers at wide receiver.
Sure. Like, now, Mike, here's the thing. If you don't win the league, you may not like this trade as much. But this gives you the best chance to win the league, I think, making this type of a trade. I'm in. I'm in. I agree, though, 100%. With Thunder 75089, if you're rebuilding, Mike, I'm getting off of Mike. I'm getting off of Mike Evans in a hurry if I can get myself some Joe Burrow, man.
I don't know if in a lineup start 11, I really want you to convolute the deal with Trey Palmer, Cedric Tillman, A.T. Perry, and a bunch of force.
I know I don't care about those guys, but I'm just, if I was in this situation and that deal was there, I'm like, all right, listen, this is ridiculous. I'm just going to accept this and probably shed all of this, but I want Burrow, right?
Correct. I was going to ask you, Adam, if you're a rebuilder in this kind of format, would you take Joe Burrow just for sending those 2 wide receivers away?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
right.
dude.
And like everything else just becomes like,
yes,
thank
brother.
you for free.
And it's one of those where like, okay, yeah, A.J. Brown's a great receiver. I still think he has plenty of juice in the tank. I think he's got plenty of time left to be a great receiver. But he is, not the spry for the dynasty of gamers that are they're just outrageous, right? Like Mike Evans
a spring chicken.
Yes.
And Fizzle has a voodoo doll with like his name and number and jersey on it.
I'm scared, by the way. When Fizzle's album drops, I think weird things can happen.
Is there an AJ Brown diss track on that new album?
If you listen close enough, you'll hear it for sure. I don't know if he's going to name it that, but you'll hear it.
AJ Brown sucks.
No, I think that honestly, Mike, I think it's a good trade for both sides. I think it makes sense. Other than all the garbage added in at the end, good for you, Slimo, for off and all that. But
it's free garbage if you're a rebuilder, and it's irrelevant garbage if you're a contender. Like nobody cares.
Correct. Like as a rebuilder, I don't probably care about any of those receivers I got. Now the force, maybe you can actually move around and get yourself positioned better to go get something later. But whatever. All right, Mike. Blunts, 40s, bitches. This is the league we're here, okay? 12-team Superflex PPR, half-tight and premium, lineup start 10. Mike, this is the same thing starting 10 instead of 11. Same scoring. Okay? So keep your mind there. Joey Cheese Sticks, for those of you that don't know, now you know. This is, how do we put it, Mike? The front runner of the year, like he's just going to switch teams and You know,
What did I change his username to in Discord? Bandwagon sticks.
bandwagon sticks. Yes, thank you. I was kind of I was trying to tee you up for that one. So it's no.
bandwagon sticks.
It's the reason I wanted to bring it up is it's if you're a bandwagon type person, right? Like if you're just gonna switch to the cool thing, you know, go back to that Gibbs thing when he's on a down week. You know who just had a pop week? You know who's a bandwagon type receiver right now, Mike? Tank Dell just went down. Nico fucking Collins, buddy. Nico Collins is the bandwagon receiver of the year at the moment. All right,
Bandwagon
let me ask you this, Mike. Full PPR, no points per carry or anything. Nico Collins or Breece Hall, where are you at?
If I'm competing, right, the way Breece Hall's played, the way that offensive line has played, this is tough for me because Nico Collins has kind of been like one of those guys that I really wanted to sell. Like it just seems like C.J. Stroud can turn anything into gold.
Yeah.
Not that I think. Listen, I don't think Nico's bad, but when you have as bad as a college profile as Nico Collins has had,
And starting a few couple years to your NFL resume, yes.
perfect, Adam. You just took the words right out of my mouth. First couple years, not that great in the NFL. C.J. Stroud comes along, and all of a sudden you look like the most dominant wide receiver I think we've ever seen, and everybody's on your bandwagon with this third-year breakout. I'm going timeout. Okay, what changed? Did Nico Collins all of a sudden learn how to be this dominant wide receiver, or is it the fact that his quarterback's really good? If it's option B, and the fact that his quarterback's really good, which I think most of you can agree with, that his quarterback is phenomenal, I will say this. If that's the case, I would be highly worried about what his prospects look like in 2024. Could they replace him? Or could they bring in competition? Could they bring in a Nico Collins? Could they bring in a Mike Evans or return home to Houston? Right?
Sure.
If that was the case, like, wouldn't we see a Nico Collins like Mike Evans or T. Higgins, I think, is more talented, and they've produced with shittier quarterback situations, and they've produced more readily right away in their careers? That would make me panic on Nico Collins. I will say this, though. If I'm a contender and I'm only looking at
4 weeks.
2023,
Yeah, 4 weeks.
the last sprint towards the championship, I think I'm more than okay with trading away Breece Hall because he's not doing anything currently, and I don't really project that situation to get any better before now and possibly my fantasy football, championship game. Okay? They're not going to all of a sudden fix that offensive line and learn how to block for Breece Hall. They're not going to all of a sudden upgrade that quarterback position and make this offense competent. So
Zach Wilson starting again, though.
he is. And he's the best quarterback New York Jets currently have that's healthy.
It just isn't saying much.
Which is not saying a lot. Trevor Siemian,
No, I'm with you.
Siemian is awful, and they just released Tim Boyle. So
They gave him a fair shake, but it didn't work out.
I think I would be okay with Nico Collins on this current 2023 heater. I'm just saying, as soon as the season's over, if Nico Collins were to keep this up, Nico Collins is definitely one of those guys, if I was bandwagon sticks here, that I would put on the block and try to move.
That's fair. I mean, so I've been, with you as far as the ride through this Nico Collins thing, and listen, let's remove the fact that he's a Wolverine. He went to Michigan. Okay, let's just
right, take the bias out.
Let's just get to the the important things. Okay. I definitely was on the understanding of okay, this is a guy that's surging in value, and his game is being elevated by the quarterback, and they really don't necessarily have to have any guarantees with him. He's still on a rookie contract. He has no future guaranteed outside of, I believe, just next season with them, as far as even just being on the team. He could go anywhere. But here's what I'm starting to get myself okay with. Okay, first and foremost, all right, Joey, if you're going to bandwagon anything, I'm okay bandwagoning my dynasty team for the final push here. Yes, give me all the bandwagon types in the final 4 weeks, okay? Because in that bandwagon that you have, we'll make fun of you relentlessly for it, You fill that thing with cash, buddy. Listen, you can bandwagon all you want. So I'm in already on the Nico side of this deal because normally, Mike, if I made a trade like this, I'd be arguing, hey, the running back doesn't have the shelf life long term, but that's what's going to score me points right now. This is the opposite. Nico's probably going to score more points. Breece Hall, every single week you start him, you're probably reliant on him getting a bust-out long touchdown in order to do anything. Teams, when they play the Jets, they're like, listen, we are not letting 20 beat us, period. We're going to stack the box. I want to see him shut down, and I want to see whoever the hell is fucking playing quarterback beat us, play in, play out. So I want Nico in the right now, but the long term, actually, Mike, I'm starting to get a little more comfortable with Nico. I'm not going to dismiss anything you just said. Like, there's definite truth to it, okay? This is a guy that we could look back, and it could be he's not with the Texans. The profile still is not great outside of a year where he was attached to C.J. Stroud. He doesn't have Stroud as a quarterback anymore, and what does that look like? Yes, very true. However, if you're the Texans, you got a rookie quarterback for the next 4 seasons on a cheap deal. You have lost your pick. You still have a first-round pick from the Browns, but you've lost your first-round pick, right? You know what you're probably going to do is give Nico probably a little bit of a sweetheart deal for him to keep him around because he's already comfortable with CJ. Like, I see that scenario because they have the money and the ability to do it. I'm not going to say it's going to happen.
That's fair.
I'm not going to say it's going to happen. I'm just saying they're in a position because of chemistry potentially to be like, yeah, you know what, Nico, we'll give you 2 years or 3 years, like at a probably above market price for you. We're not going to give you the long-term deal maybe that you want, but like, you've done enough with us. We have CJ under control for a long enough time, and we have other things to address on this team. Even if they use a first-round pick on a receiver, I think CJ is showing me that he could support at least 2, if not 3 receivers. He looks to be every bit of a quarterback that I just want attachments to. Now, all that being said, Breece Hall next year could absolutely be the better asset than Nico Collins. But when I think all that out, Mike, I think I'm okay with taking Nico right now because I think he's going to give me a better chance to win. And I think there's at least a 50-50 shot for him now, given if he continues to play this way the rest of the year, where they want to see what they can do to keep him around for another 2-3 years. And that's all I need from Nico, right?
One of the things, too, like, I like to look at I'll look at WARP for a season-long total to get a differentiation between positions. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, as a totality. But I don't use it to, like, individualize players.
Right.
If I'm going to individualize players, it's going to be within short time spans. So for this one, like, I use 5 weeks. Last 5 weeks, what does WARP for this league tell me? And this is the OG WARP, the original, the untainted, the mastermind, the true WARP, devised by Koopa Troopa.
I love it.
If I look at this one, WARP for the last 5 weeks is telling me that Nico Collins is a top 20 option.
Yeah.
And Adam, you can acknowledge too, in that 5 weeks, we probably had a couple bad weeks from Nico where we're like, damn, I wish you would have done something. Like, I was expecting some more shit, but it ended up being a tanked out week. Breece Hall, 73. Nico Collins, top 20 option. Breece Hall, 73. If I get to this point where I'm Joey Cheese Sticks, sorry, bandwagon sticks. Let me refer to him by his proper name.
Thank you.
And I'm 10-3, and I am the 2 seed in this league. Dynasty value, thinking about 2024, 2025.
It's ancillary at best.
That shit is gone. I'm thinking
it's ancillary
about
at
moves
best.
now.
Right.
What can I do now? And Adam, even if this doesn't, like, let's say he loses in week 16, right? He gets the first round bye because he's a 2 seed. He loses in week 16, first playoff game. Did he really lose that much value between a Nico Collins and a Breece Hall, where you're like, damn, I wish I would have held on to Breece? There's a little bit of regret, but for the most part, you'd be more regretful if you held on to a Breece Hall who's a subpar player for you right now. No
and lost in week
Breece,
16 again.
And lost in week 16 than if you actually did everything you could to try to win in week 16 and put yourself into the money. So
100%.
this is a perfect move. And for this guy, Bobo.
Is this Jake Bobo?
I don't believe so. But Bobo is borderline playoff team. Looks like he's gonna make it, but it says the 60 just skinning in by the teeth. The skin of his paint.
There you go.
Fuck it. Who gives a shit what that analogy is? If I'm him, same thing, right? I think long term instead of the here and right now. Yeah. Do I have an option like a Nico Collins, which I acknowledged at the beginning of this trade? I'm not as high on maybe for the long term. Like I had some reservations. Not that he's bad or anything, Adam.
Mm-hmm.
But would I like to get the better, more safe long term asset in my opinion? Fuck yeah, give me the Breece Hall. Like I don't give a shit. Give me the loss in week 15. My team probably isn't good enough anyways.
Yeah.
I'm reloading and thinking about, hey, what's this look like when Aaron Rodgers is back? What's this look like when the Jets realize their offensive line is trash?
Sure.
And they draft somebody this year. Or they bring a bunch of dudes in.
Better hope it ain't some trash guy again. They've done that before.
Please. I'm not saying it couldn't be that way, but
I understand what you're saying. I understand for sure in a scenario where you're him, Jake Bobo, taking this deal on. But here's what I will say. All right, I get it, but one of the things that you and I talk about it, one of the hardest things for me to do anymore is take on running backs as future values. He's threading the needle here probably just by the skin of his teeth, to your point. Because Breece Hall is like a talent that gives me that. But, Mike, damn, man. Like, running backs going into year 3. I know it feels young. I know he still feels young. But, dude, this community, us as a whole, we hate running backs that are in year 3 and beyond. Like, maybe not year 3, but year 4 for damn sure. Jonathan Taylor had a down year going in, like, the year 4 year. Look where people were. Then all of a sudden there's the contract situation. He got blasted in dynasty value. Like,
right.
I'm not saying I won't take this here. I just think it's marginal. I could see if you wanted to hold. I personally would take Breece here. I'm with you. But it's not like... Dude, it's tough to get off of a receiver that has the potential to be with a guy like C.J. Stroud for a while, for a running back that you're talking about, like, talented as hell. One of the most talented backs in the league, personally, in my opinion, bar none. Mike hates Iowa State, but he doesn't hate him some Breece Hall, right? Here's the truth. That offense needs a lot of things to go right for us to really get the Breece Hall that we all wanted, right? We know that. We need offensive line help. We need Aaron Rodgers to come back healthy. We need this offense to click. This offense sucks, man. Like, this is one of the teams, Mike, for the last 5 weeks. If you didn't watch them, I don't care. Like, it's been hard to watch them. I want to bet on the talent. I'm just worried about the situation change. So, I like it better for Joey, but I will say, like, I can understand what Jake Bobo's doing here. All right, 12-team Superflex. 12-team Superflex, full PPR.
Shout out for Jake Bobo for being a fan and a man of the people and playing in dynasty leagues.
If you're that guy in stature, you're getting along in the NFL, like, you want as much fandom as you can get, right? Like, give me all these dynasty guys. Let me be a part of this thing. Full PPR, 1 point tight end premium, lineup start 10, quarantine league. For those of you who don't know, we normally record this, about 3:45 Eastern time. We're recording this after midnight, after an AMA night. So enjoy this. All right.
Yeah, somebody's sauced up.
Somebody's. Justin Stas is getting, I probably butchered that, T. Higgins, Jonathan Taylor in a third, okay? Plank Crew, for those of you who don't know, I'm going to completely, expose the man. This is Dynasty Alex. This is his sleeper name. Much like me, if you don't know what the hell a Raptor 1523 is, it's ATM, all right? Exposed. So, Mike Plank Crew, though, Dynasty Alex is getting Kyron Williams, Brandon Aiyuk, and a 24-second. I'm going to let you go first before I say anything here, because
why are you doing
I got
this
words.
to me, man?
I got words, but I want I want to know what your opinion is of this trade.
I don't know what the fuck we're doing here.
That's a start of what I'm thinking. Yeah,
I guess like maybe Dynasty Alex is trying to compete, And if I'm trying to compete, Brandon Aiyuk and Kyron Williams over T. Higgins and Jonathan Taylor, right? And I get the second, which kind of seems...
For Dynasty Alex, it's... I know what Dynasty Alex is doing. For sure.
Long term, if I'm Justin Stoss, if I'm rebuilding, T. Higgins, Jonathan Taylor, the third, and I don't know where that second is. God, I hope it's late.
Well, here's what I'm saying though. I want to be clear about why I'm very bullish on the side Dynasty Alex is getting. I don't know the specifics, Mike. If you want to do some of the digging while I kind of tangent this thing.
Sure thing, buddy.
Mike, if I'm taking on Jonathan Taylor and T. Higgins, I would think I'm not playing in the playoffs. For Kyron Williams and Brandon Aiyuk, God, I would hope so. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if that's the case, Mike, you're telling me it's a 205, 204, or earlier, and 24 as well. That's a piece I absolutely want in a lineup start 10 league, buddy. I got news for you. That piece is massive in this trade. Versus, if I'm contending and you let me pivot to Brandon Aiyuk and Kyron Williams, you know what this third could be? 310, 312. We know 24, but we don't know it that well. We're going to need C2C on this.
All right, I got to ask you then. All right, so I did some digging.
Okay. What do we know? Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm way off.
Currently, Dynasty Alex is the 5th or 6th seed. Now,
all right.
It has him listed as the 6th seed. But
okay. So he's in the playoffs, but by the skin of his teeth again.
It's a lineup league, so there's more variance than in a best ball league. So let me lead off with that.
Yep.
If it was a best ball league, I would probably be ripping him a new asshole right now. Right?
I'm not sure that you won't anyway, but let's hear it.
Okay. His team, Lamar and Tua at quarterback, Jordan Love as his QB3.
Love that.
Fantastic QB room. Yep.
Love that.
Jahmyr Gibbs, who we watched you buy earlier in this trade show at running back.
Love it or listed. I'm loving it. Josh
Jacobs, Aaron Jones, Gus Edwards. Like decent enough running back room, right?
Very good running back room.
A.J. Brown, Puka Nacua, DeVonta Smith, Brandon Aiyuk. Lineup start 10. Not too bad for your wide receivers. Tight ends, on the other hand, Mark Andrews is dead. We know that.
Yeah, sure.
Jonnu Smith is his starting tight end with Tanner Hudson backing him up.
Okay. I mean, listen, if I'm going to be weak at a position, even though it is a full tight end premium, like even there,
it's definitely going to be a tight end.
It's going to be tight end, yes. Mike, I mean,
what do you think about that with that context of that roster? Because if I think about it with the context of the roster, even though I would go in going, I'm currently the 5th or 6th seed, like I got a realistic shot in a lineup league to just fucking smash these fools like they have.
There's no chance I'm letting that team carry Jonathan Taylor and T. Higgins. Not
2 zeros.
I'm not doing it. I'm not letting that happen, Mike. First and foremost, let me just start by saying that. Like, okay, if you had just Jonathan Taylor and like you couldn't get market value movement, fine. You just hold Jonathan Taylor, hope you win the first week, and then maybe he's playing by the semis or by the championship if we make it. I get it. Like, I'm not holding both these guys. I'm just not doing that. This is, Mike, can I be honest with you? This is a gift on a silver platter. Can I tell you why, in my opinion, it's that way? It's not to be dismissive of Jonathan Taylor's talent. I absolutely believe that, when healthy, he's the back I want in this format.
Long term, yeah.
Yeah, next year I still want him quite a bit. But when I think about this league format and I think about the team that you have, can I tell you what both T. Higgins and Jonathan Taylor really are? They're fine. They could even be a little better than fine. But they're not essential. They are not essential to my team winning every single year. They're just not. They are just simply not a part of the big type of puzzle that I have to put together. Mike, Kyron Williams is going right now to be the lead back in a Sean McVay offense. And we've seen him week in and week out give you everything you want except for the game versus Philly, man. What? Stop it. I get to replace that 1-for-1. And I'd rather have Brandon Aiyuk, frankly, right now than T. Higgins because he's healthy. Like, it's not just T. Higgins has been banged up, but he's also got freaking, say what you want about Browning. Okay, fine. But it's not Burrow. Brandon Aiyuk has been great. Mike, the 24-second, though, can I get an answer on what Justin Stoss's team is? Because that is such a huge piece.
Ooh, Justin Sauce. Why would you give that up?
Mike, that's the biggest part of the puzzle. Not just did you pivot 1-for-1 to guys I'd probably prefer right now, but that pick I guarantee you is mid to early.
Top 3 right now.
Stop. This is highway robbery. This is ridiculous, bro. From the beginning that I saw this is theft. Plank Crew needs to be exploited. Like I told you all, this is Dynasty Alex. We need to lock this man up. He's got to go away.
Listen, this is probably why Dynasty Alex never trades with me or you, because he's so used to just taking advantage of these fucking bucks.
Sure. And could you blame him? Look at this. This is the 5th D at its finest. That second, third swap changes everything about the totality of the trade. I still would do this 1-for-1, Mike, if I'm being completely honest.
Even
I understand.
if it was switched. Switch it early second for a late third.
No, let me say it this way. The player's 1-for-1. Like I'm flipping them without the pick involvement, period. Like I want those guys ready to go on my team to win. Okay. Now, if you did that, we'd have a much different conversation. I probably still would do it with the team that you just listed. He's built right? He's not Gibbs, but he's built different. All right.
He's built different. He's not Jahmyr Gibbs, but he's definitely built different.
But Mike, if you get to you get the 5th D this thing, and you get almost a first round pick thrown in here with the healthy guys. That third, Mike, is 307 at best.
Yeah.
That is a absolutely ridiculous difference in pick in the 24 class that's loaded.
All right. Dynasty Alex, take this, what you did here, lower it by 75%, and then maybe you and I can get a deal done.
There's your strategy. My God, that's... Dynasty Alex actually, Mike, I get behind some of his deals, but that one by far and away from the beginning I saw it just that's easy. All right, Mike. Okay, what are we doing here type shit, right? 12-team Superflex PPR, lineup start 10, degenerate morons. Castle Black.
The league name fits.
Castle Black's getting Mark Andrews. He's sending away George Kittle, Zach Moss, Chuba Hubbard. What side do you want? I don't see anything about tight end premium here. I don't know if that's the case or not. I'm just reading what I have.
Who gives a fuck?
Expand, please. Don't get mad at me. I'm reading the trade. All right, just expand for everyone.
How dare we disrespect George Kittle like this?
I got a nice intro start to the hologram, Mike. So when you see George Kittle come up this week, okay, give it a good 5 to 10 seconds before you say anything, because it's a little highlight of George Kittle,
Most leagues, Adam, you and I have done this for multiple episodes, it feels like this year. For 2023 at least. Since warp has come into our lives. Most leagues, tight ends don't matter. Even in start 2 tight end, 0.75 tight end premium, that kind of stuff.
Right. Put it like this. There's leagues where it matters, but we play in a ton of different scoring leagues, and there's a handful that it matters, right? It's few and far between. It really is. Like we have both been privy to see the leagues we thought it mattered in. It really doesn't as much as we thought, right? It takes a rare league for it to be like, all right, yeah, I want to give me some tight ends. And we've both been wrong on that before. Like we both have overinvested in the past in tight ends more than we should have, right? We both learned that, like, when in doubt, err on the side of I'm getting rid of the tight ends, okay?
Correct. You're usually more correct.
Yes.
Just getting rid of them at that point. I am never going to make a move again where the tight end is the central piece of the package I'm getting back. So think about it this way.
Interesting.
If I am Big Boss at this, right? Big Boss is competing. Castle Black is not. I get George Kittle, okay? It doesn't matter if Zach Moss or Chuba Hubbard in 2024 are complete zeros. The difference between Mark Andrews and George Kittle next year is probably very, very small, right? Like I really can't lose.
For next season, like the immediate season upon us, I don't disagree. I don't think Kittle's showing any signs of real age. I'm not saying he's not going to eventually cliff. I'm just not concerned yet at all, frankly.
The difference between the two is probably negligible at best, right? If you were to tell me George Kittle outscores Mark Andrews next year, I'm not shocked at all.
Let me just say it this way. I have been a staunch defender of Kittle, and I've been attacked plenty for it this year. But I think we're seeing it when the season is. This is the thing about George Kittle.
By me, and this motherfucker's on a canvas that you made me and sent me.
Listen, it's okay. You don't have to apologize. I just you saying it out loud is okay. That's all I need. But here's what I'm trying to get at, Mike, actually. George Kittle, when you see a full body of season work, you have enough time now to see that the spike weeks and the other weeks blend enough to where George Kittle's still very much an elite tight end. That is the problem with George Kittle, though, is in a window of 6 weeks early on in the season, you might be like, nah, man, he ain't it. Like, this is over. Dude, give him a full season and let him have enough of them spike weeks kick in where he spikes. When he spikes, Mike, he spikes with the best of them, if not the best in the league. Period. That, over the course of a year, is all I need at my tight end position. All I need. So here's the reason I'm putting that all into words. Okay. The only way that I would ever really consider this for Castle Black, Mike, and this is where I want to know the dynamics. I'm going to give you the one scenario where I would do this trade. I would probably have wanted something back, to be frank, but just forget the values for a second. The reason I would ever take this trade on is like I'm trying to shed points in an effort to get as close to the bottom as possible for my own pick. That's the only exception I would ever make for this because I don't care that much about Zach Moss and Chuba Hubbard. And I know in a lineup start 10, if I have to start them, maybe they're actually going to score me some points. Like that's it. That's my only scenario. That's the only one where I'm like, okay, I get it because you get younger at tight end, you probably stay the same there, and you're shedding them running back values. That's the only place I'd even consider.
6 and 7.
Okay, so yeah, I'm probably not doing this, man. Nope.
To even move up a slot, it's week 14, right? So you don't have that option. The other guy is 2 games less than him as far as the win column goes.
Yes. Yeah, so in the scenario you're giving me now, no. My point was like if I'm in a race here, let's say I'm in the race with 3 teams or 2 teams for the bottom pick, or like making sure I'm in the top 3.
The 104. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, fine. I'll take the loss up front, but it's running backs that I probably am going to get maybe a third at best for or 4th, right? Like,
yeah.
I'll shed that. I'll shed that to race to the bottom. That's the only exception I'll make to this trade, frankly, to be honest.
If you're big boss, this doesn't involve any draft capital.
This is a smash. Why would you not do this in lineup start 10? You get 2 running backs that have windows of playing and starting and meaning something for you on top of the healthy tight end. This is the best case scenario for a Mark Andrews sell, in my opinion.
I also assume it's no tight end premium because the warp graph.
I was going to talk about that too. It doesn't look like it's. If it's a tight end premium, Mike, it's kind of small, in my opinion.
I mean, like Mark Andrews for the year has a .175 warp, which is like kind of equivalent to like the QB 21-22. Not good.
Well,
that's the tight end form.
Let me just tell you why. Here's, like, when I look at these charts, okay? By the way, southharmonff.com/warp at this point.
Go get it.
Yeah, I strongly suggest it. Mike, when you see the lines look the way they are, Christian, by the way, this is Q. Put the fucking warp chart up, okay? You see for the full season where the top 2 warp options are, Mike? Just I'm gonna do it with my mouse right here. T.J. Hawkinson and Kelce. Now they're above Kelce. 1. They're above 1, right? But they're 1.168 and 1.189. Now the reason I highlight that is because that is like the equivalent of wide receiver, running back, quarterback, 18 to 20 range. Okay, and the reason that's so important and why the warp tool is so great is it shows you if you finally pick the correct elite one in this league, it's not winning you shit really.
I will do it for you right here, right? I got it. Trust me, brother. I got you.
All right, now I'm excited. Let's hear it.
T.J. Hawkinson and Travis Kelce are the warp equivalent in this league of Gus Edwards.
Thank you. Correct.
That's if you hit the correct one, the number 1 overall.
Thank you for highlighting the player that will signify the importance.
Fucking Gus Edwards, son of a bitch.
Yeah, I can give. Wide receiver 18 doesn't sound that bad. Gus Edwards highlights it a little better. You did. You got it. You did. Damn it, you got it. Now, The point is, right, if you think about it, you're shedding the running back points and these guys that are not long-term running back assets. So, like, okay, I understand it. I understand getting rid of those. I just think if a guy is in a contention mode and he gets to pivot from Andrews to Kittle, frankly, I like, just to be completely blunt, I think you would be getting some sort of even nominal plus. Like, let's even say it's minimal, but it's something. Like, all right, fine. I'll take the hurt tight end because I don't want the points, and I get a little younger. You give me a fucking fourth. So you give me, I don't even care. You give me something. A feel-good price, right? But what I understand wanting to sell these Zach Mosses and Chuba Hubbards in this build, but I'm not getting rid of them in pluses with a healthy tight end that's giving you high-end warp value right now to get Mark Andrews back. And then again, if he's not what he has been this year and he is what he was in the past, he's worth Gus Edwards, which I just got rid of 2 of them.
Yes.
House full circle. House full circle there.
I got to figure out a way I can be more big boss instead of me, because trading with Castle Black is like fucking pulling teeth sometimes. And I just see that he gave up the booty, just spread him wide open for Big Boss. So
them booty
Big
cheeks.
Boss, Big Boss, man, if you watch this, hit me up, McNutted at Iowa Michael on Twitter. DM me, let me know. Like, how'd you do this? I want to know.
Okay, Mike. Now, listen, we haven't had a 3-way trade on here in a while. And is there any doubt?
I've never had a 3-way.
You've never had a 3-way trade? Or a 3-way? No, you never had either.
I mean, I asked.
You haven't had a 3-way.
I've asked once a year.
Yeah.
And, never.
Santa doesn't ever. You're on the naughty list, aren't you?
Santa baby.
Goodness gracious.
You knew this shit was off the rails when we were like, hey, let's do it after the AMA. Mike.
Listen, this is what happens.
Let's go.
This is what happens when Mike oversleeps, all right, during a nap. We do it after the AMA, and I think if anyone besides myself, everyone watching should be thanking, the no alarm being set. But if there was a 3-way trade to go on here, Mike, back to the 3-way thing. You know who would be putting it on? The Who's. Blitz, the person that orchestrates this whole show, okay? So
imagine that. We're like 7 straight weeks of his trades being featured. Listen, you and I started South Harmon. If we kick off every show with one of our deals between us two, I guarantee neither one of us have matched the Who's as far as trades on the trade show.
Well, because
within the last 3 months.
we swap, like, who starts typically, right? Every now and again we both go. We go 3-way, but
right.
Most of the time we're swapping, we're trading off. Who's is getting almost every show. Now, one thing that I will notice though is he is the patron in this trade. Okay, so this is one of the times he's using the patronage that he has. A lot of times he gets in by he kind of swindles it by saying, all right, we're going to highlight this Savage member and that Savage member.
He puts somebody else in the trade.
He's very, very crafty with delegation. Let's put it that way. All right.
Sneaky, sir.
Now, let me just say, before I even read this trade, if you're in a 3-way trade, okay, before I even look what you're giving up, what else is going on, you're getting Joe Burrow the 103 in a second. I'm just going to start by saying it's going to be tough to beat that in any trade, okay? Because we're talking about right now, Mike, not just Joe Burrow. Say what you want about him. Like, you could be worried about the risk and all that, but one of the perennial picks in a class that we are coveting over the last 5 years, frankly.
Right.
And a second. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's read the rest of the trades now for everyone that's on podcast or even if you are reading this crazy deal. So you're sending away Josh Allen to do so. So, okay, understandably, you're going to be sending away one of the warp gods, right? Travion Buckets. It's the Tiger Woods in jail face, by the way. Or like, the when he got in trouble with the he's like Mike right now. He's got a little bit of an alcohol ABV thing going on, right?
What the fuck did Tiger Woods do to you?
Nothing. I'm just noticing that that's the picture. It's a very clear one. It might be small, but
to see that far.
I know. And it's Travion Bucket spelled like Travion Henderson, which the combination of this is making me wonder about everything in life.
Unfortunately, going back to school.
Yeah.
That made me sad today when I saw that.
Were you shocked?
A little bit. Weak running back class should have came out.
The only thing I can think about is that maybe he was frankly been told like his draft capital's not solidified, and Ohio State at that point it's like, hey, listen, we'll take you back for another year for a little bump, buddy. You know,
here's $1 million. Shut the fuck up.
That doesn't cost them anything. That $1 million is nothing to Ohio State for everyone listening.
Exactly.
Okay, for Travion, that's a big boost. So that's my only thought of how it would work out.
What
anyway,
about Travion Buckets here?
Now Travion Buckets is removing Travion Henderson.
Ridley.
He's getting Calvin Ridley and Josh Allen, okay? And then you always, Mike, we talk about this in 3 ways all the time, okay? Now, I know you have never had one, but in 3 ways, there's always one person that really tends to get fucked.
Nicole?
Okay? Form R, Frog, Town R. Not sure what the R's signify or if I'm reading this wrong. But he's getting Tank Dell for Ridley in a second. That's the third that's the third leg in this deal. I mean, listen, I want Tank Dell, quite frankly, well over Calvin Ridley, especially if I'm rebuilding. But the one thing I'm struggling with is that he's sending away his second, which I'm going to tell you guys a little math equation that Blitz is doing that I find hilarious. He wants us to get to this point. I've been drinking, but I'm not that dumb, okay? If the 103 is from the same manager, you know what the second is?
Same thing.
Same.
It's a 203.
Not different. Same.
Same.
It's,
but still same.
Exactly. It's 203. All right, so Tank Dell or the 203? Tank Dell. Calvin Ridley and the 203 or Tank Dell? I don't think I'm necessarily as bullish on this Tank Dell side anymore, right?
Yeah.
I'm looking to get something back for my Calvin Ridley.
Here's the thing. I look at this, and I don't think anybody got too completely fucked. You know what I mean? There's a clear winner. Don't get me wrong.
No, I was going to say you're wrong because they both got fucked.
There you go.
Can I tell you the craziest part is he not only fucked them both, okay? He swindled them so bad. So, Mike, Travion Buckets is holding the top 3 gem pick from the person that got in the trade at the end of it. Not only did I get you before, buddy, I need you to come back for one more menage a trois.
Here you go again. Yeah.
I need you to come back. And listen, everything that took place is a little while ago, but I need you to come back to the ranch. Buddy, this is crazy. He didn't just get the early second from dude.
I don't get it.
Or he or she, sorry. I don't want to, I don't know.
Usually,
Mike, here's the thing. You got the 203 and the 103 that belong to the same managers from the 2 people that held both trades. And you got a top 7, 5, whatever you want to call it, quarterback for your one top 5 quarterback. We need to move on from this because, Blitz, this is not the way that you just rub it in people's faces, too.
The last thing I'll say, Adam, is usually when we see 3-way trades on this show, and you can go back and look through all of our previous episodes.
One has a thumbnail about it, yeah.
There's usually one person who gets completely fucked over.
Gouged hard, yeah.
It's kind of like the movie Rounders, right? Like what's that saying? If you can't spot the sucker within the first 5 minutes, you're the sucker. There's always that sucker, right? There's always that sucker. This is one of the weird ones where there's 2 suckers and 1 winner. But the suckers are so fucking minute where neither one of them knows that they're suckers. You know what I'm saying?
I do. It's funny you worded it this way. As soon as you went to that movie, I knew like I needed a mute for a minute. Okay, I'm actually going to I'm going to pivot to an alternative potential, not a guarantee.
Okay,
but a potential. All right. The potential is this. Listen, Travion Buckets goes to the Who's. Okay, buddy. You're my only option left. You're the only guy that has a real true warp god. All right? Here's the thing. We don't quite have what we take 1 for 1 to make this get done. But I'll tell you something. I fucked this guy before. All we got to do is get him back. And we can finish this out. And that's exactly what happened. They got him to come back for one more time. And they both win. Because he needed to get healthy at QB. And although he got gaped a little bit, you know, he'd already done some gaping in the past to make this whole thing work.
I'll take a little bit of gaping for even more gaping.
Which one do you think is the true scenario?
I think the second one is.
I think the second one might have hit it too close to home on the button. Oh boy! All right,
that's a lot of gaping.
All right, let's try to reel this in. We got 2 trades left. Okay, Mr. Wonderful is back. Now this time not buying Burrow. All right, at freemium prices. This time, Mike, he's getting Chris Olave, sending away. I mean, I know he's an Eagle by long-term standing, but the corpse of Miles Sanders. Is it okay to say that yet?
You can say it. That motherfucker's dead. He's been dead to me since.
When Chuba Hubbard is just overtaking you as the guy while you're healthy, we need to have a funeral.
Ass. Yeah,
we need to have a funeral on the recap for Miles Sanders, frankly. But anyway, the corpse of Miles Sanders, Jerry Jeudy, who's honestly at this point feeling corpse-like himself.
Yep.
And a warp god in Rachaad White. Okay, so 12-team Superflex, 2 tight end league, full PPR, half tight end premium, best ball start 11, last action heroes. Mike, what I do need though, in order to really be able to judge this fairly, is what's the situation for Mr. Wonderful in this scenario? Is he rebuilding?
I would assume so. Most of the leagues.
I mean, that's what I would think initially when looking at it, but like, I don't know, man. And it's best ball, and I know we talk about depth in best ball, but like Jeudy and Sanders feel like they probably haven't made a lineup in a long time.
Well, let me ask you this: we played a lot of leagues with Mr. Wonderful.
That's true.
Have you ever seen him compete yet?
Oh no!
I know the gambler hits
Mr. Wonderful, man. Are you gonna stand for this?
I know the gambler. The gambler hits me with this. It seems like at least once a year, where he's like, "Wow, look, Mike's actually competing in a league." Like, because he doesn't believe I actually win leagues.
You know what?
I beat his ass.
Mike, I know the feeling. I know the feeling. You know, I have an affinity of rebuilding just because I deal with a lot of these shitheads, Mike. You know who you are. I don't need to name your names. That they're just dead set on trading all their future and everything in the startup. It's like, okay, well, the path of least resistance, right? My coach growing up, he used to say, like, this was literally one of the elementary things that's so important in just like sports, but in basketball in particular. Take what the defense gives you, right? Mike, these guys are just here. You got to go left, but it's wide open, and that's the rebuild side. But then we're going into an auction one day, as I'm after golf, and I've had a few pops, and Cody's all chirpy, You don't ever fucking compete. All you do is rebuild. I said, okay, sure. Let's compete, You know what the worst part about that was, Mike? I play him in the title game. And the fucking shit that went down versus the Bengals and Bills, I had no choice but to split with the motherfucker because nothing would have tasted better than beating him in that title game. Can I tell you that?
Yes, it would have.
Anyway, so I know the chirping that goes on here. Mr. Wonderful's rebuilding, I'm assuming, is what you're trying to tell me in a long-winded way.
He is currently the 6th seed, but his team is, one of those 6. There's a reason.
So he's essentially saying, like, I tried to compete. I tried to compete in this league, but now it's time to admit defeat. I got it.
Yeah. Like when you lose a quarterback like Joe Burrow, for most people that affects you pretty strongly.
Oh, so this is one of the leagues he had already owned Burrow instead of buying into Burrow again after hurt. Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, here's what I would say. Long term, I want Olave. Short term, I'm not even going to say that I really need to have Rachaad White over Olave. Like, they're both great pieces of a contender, I think, right now, especially in best ball start 11. So I'll say for Mr. Wonderful, given the context, I want his side because, like, I don't think the difference in Judy and Sanders, as much as those names may feel like something of warrant to you guys who are watching this and like, oh yeah, I remember Miles Sanders, I remember Jerry Jeudy. I don't care what you remember. I remember right now and the future. This is Dynasty. I don't care about the past. I care about what we're doing now and in the future. And them dudes are burnt. They're burnt toast, and I want Olave in the future. So if I don't want to win right now, I'll take the Olave side. For Matty McBean, what I don't get is like, all right, I'll take your Rashad White. I'll give you my Olave, but Mike, piece 2 and 3 got to give me something that's giving me like weekly. Like I mean, give me Pop Douglas or something. Like, what are these guys, right? Like, what are these guys?
You just hit this motherfucker with a. It doesn't matter what your name.
Oh no.
This is one of the weird, like, I get on Mr. Wonderful quite a bit, right? Like, I like to clown him a little bit.
Rightfully so.
He's a good dude.
Yeah, I love Mr. Wonderful, by the way. I talk a lot of shit to him, but I love him.
I'm taking the Chris Olave side all day, every day. No question about it.
Let me ask you this last piece, though.
Not even think it twice.
If you're contending, would you make this trade for the Mr. Wonderful side?
Fuck no.
Okay. All right. Well, you said, I just wanted to clarify for everyone listening because I knew that would be the answer, but you just said you take that side all day, every day. I just wanted to make sure it was clear. Like, when you're rebuilding, I want the Olave side by a mile. Now, if you're contending, Mike, would you take Rashad White and those two pieces, or are you pushing back like, give me something different?
I mean, like, Rashad White, you and I can both agree, has kind of been on a heater, right?
I mean, he's had a great season. He's been on a heater, particularly of late, too.
I mean, he comes in at like 14, 15 in the last 5 weeks in warp.
Right. You're talking all positions, correct?
All positions.
Yeah, I mean, he's frankly right now, I would say, a slight edge ahead of Olave warp-wise. Olave's come to life the last 3 weeks, so if you, like, shorten the warp to 3 weeks, I bet you it's a pretty tight window. But
right, even with Olave having to catch like fucking tip passes from Jameis Winston.
There you go. See, he still caught it.
There should have been fucking interceptions. Olave's like, I got this. Don't worry about it, Jameis.
Listen, Jameis, I know we got to keep you below the threshold of interceptions, and yeah, eat that crab, buddy.
Eat that W, man. You gotta eat that W.
I always call it eat the crab because he walked out of the grocery store with it.
Oh, that's true. He did. Publix, by the way.
Yes.
If y'all don't know.
Big grocery store chain.
Big grocery store. It's good stuff too, man. They got some good crap. Yeah, but this is Chris Olave. Like, I'm all aboard the Mr. Wonderful side. I don't think I'm buying one running back who's I can acknowledge is probably points per game and warp better than Chris Olave, but the long-term dynasty long-term dynasty outlook is he's still a fucking running back. You know what I mean? Like, I could probably wrap my head around that. The other two pieces are irrelevant and actually probably a detriment to me. Even in a best ball.
Well,
right?
This
Miles
is
Sanders probably ain't making your fucking lineup ever.
This is where, like, I feel as though, like, the best ball roster construction series we did with Scott, like, we talk a lot about best ball in depth and stuff, but, like, I feel like if you're Matty McBean and you're not how do I word this? If you're not paying a ton of attention, if you just, like, are thinking about stuff generically, like, you look at this trade, like, dude, I'm getting 3 pieces for one. Rashad White's probably a little better than Chris Olave. Like, why do they hate this? But, like, Jerry Jeudy and Miles Sanders, I feel like I'm getting a ton of name cachet that's worth a fucking nothing anymore.
Right.
What, Mike? I'm being serious. I think Miles Sanders since week 1 has not even been a top 20 running back.
You're probably right. I have him a lot of places.
He was like 18 carries week 1. You're like, all right, listen, not a great week, but he's the guy in Carolina that gave him a contract.
Getting the work.
That was it. The work that he got was in week 1, and it's been a little banged up, but then just not getting work. I don't understand it. And then you got Jeudy, who's, I don't even know if he definitely hasn't had a spike week. I don't know how many consistency weeks he's had. He feels he's done nothing again. So, like,
none.
He's had no consistent weeks? Oh, I was going to say, that's crazy.
I don't know if that's fucking true or not, but it feels like he's done
nothing. That's what it feels like. And the reason I'm bringing this up, Mike, to try to put a bow on this, like, you push back if you're. I'll take Rachaad White, but do we both agree we push back on Judy and Sanders, and like we want something different back from you that gives me more of a chance to break my lineup? I think is what we're trying to say. Correct.
Give me fucking Zach Moss, man.
What does he have? Here's what I want to talk about, like specifically for his team. Can you pull it up to where we know like what Mr. Wonderful has in chips that we would replace it with? Because one of the things I'd like to do on the show, you guys that want our trades done in 5 minutes, there's a different place you can go find that. All right.
Yeah, we don't do that.
We go deep context, and I'm just for everyone listening. Whether this is your team or not, I want to talk about what we would actually take back. You know what I mean?
Hollywood. Could you get a Hollywood? Rachaad White and Hollywood for Chris Olave. Could you do that?
What's Hollywood's status though? Isn't it? I thought he was injured a little bit, right?
He's had a heel injury, but he's
Okay.
supposed to be good to go for this week.
Oh, is he playing? All right. I mean,
Allegedly.
yeah. Listen, I'm not the biggest Hollywood guy, you know that, but I would take him over Judy and Sanders, honestly.
I don't like fucking tight ends, but could you ask him for a Cole Kmet?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a 2 tight end league, Mike. I'd like tight ends a little more in this league.
Dude, this guy's gross. But this is kind of like best ball, right? Like instead of asking for a Jerry Jeudy, who's a name,
Yep.
ask for a Greg Dortch plus.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, Mike, let's just discuss this. Give me Greg Dortch, Cole Kmet.
Would you rather have Greg Dortch and Jalen Guyton or Jerry Jeudy on a best ball?
I'll take the as long as we're not rostering 25 or less, I'll take the 2 guys easy.
This is the kind of thing I like.
Because Guyton also, listen, I don't think Guyton's worth a shit, but all it takes is one spike week or one long touchdown. Let's not even call it a spike week. One long touchdown in a fantasy playoff game that he could outscore Judy by himself.
Jesus Christ, ask for Trenton Irwin too, right?
I think that's what I'm trying to get at is there's got to be players even on Mr. Wonderful's rebuild, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is almost universally like on a rebuild if it's not a quarterback position where it's a very finite number of players that fit this build. You'll find rebuilders all the time that don't even have a single quarterback you want. Like when we're talking skill players, it's almost impossible to not find multiple different options on a team, even if they're trying to tank. Now, you said he's the 6th seed, but like you're going to find options, something. There's some kind of bodies. Like if you told me right now, you gave me Greg Dortch, Jalen Guyton, and Cole Kmet versus these 3, it's not even a relative discussion, especially in a 2 tight end league, right? And here's the thing. If you're Mr. Wonderful, I don't know that you care to. I don't think that he'd have a bigger problem doing that. I really don't.
No, because he's probably thinking to himself like, all right, Jerry Judy's a name. I might be able to flip him for a second to somebody else later.
Mr. Wonderful has been scheming, getting rid of Judy and Sanders. He's been waiting for this type of thing to come around. Like he's been trying to figure out how to sell these name values.
Please.
So anyway, in the best ball thing, listen, it's about depth. As long as it's not a super shallow roster, it is very much about depth. But just be careful about buying names that are closer to zeros than actual, like their name cachet, right? What is the production
100%.
of these players? So I think that's the point we're trying to make in this last deal here. And then the final deal, new patron, XX Dazed Seeker, getting DeVonta Smith, the Slim Reaper, 4. Nico Collins in a 24-second of his own. 12-team Superflex PPR, half-point tight end premium, lineup start 10. Mike, can I tell you the best part about the trade? Well, forget the trade for a second, just this trade being on the show.
Okay.
The league name is Price Check with a question mark. That is about as trade show worthy as it gets, buddy. He wants a price check, and did he make the right deal? What do we think? What do you think of this deal? You talked a lot of your Nico worry, and I'm curious where it is right now.
I'm also... Is it weird to say like apprehensive on DeVonta Smith at times?
I don't know. Is it weird for you to say apprehensive? Is that a word?
I'm an Eagles fan. Like it feels like I'm not allowed to say that.
No, but look, this year I think should show you at least like listen, DeVonta Smith, Slim Reaper is absolutely a good talent, right? But he's this year given what we've seen of this offense and the way that Jalen Hurts is his style of play, which probably isn't going to change in the near next year or two, frankly, right? They're only going to throw the ball so much. Not saying that they can't throw the ball, but they're only going to throw the ball so much. And when you have A.J. Brown, who's an absolute dog, you've got DeAndre Swift comes over, right? You got DeAndre Swift comes over. You have Dallas Goedert, when in the lineup, is someone that's going to warrant targets. You can see where, as much as we push back on DeVonta Smith last year at cost being like just way disproportionate, this year it was not the case. Like, he's a third-round startup pick. So when the value's caught up, he is not as close to the alpha of A.J. Brown as the price probably is warranted the last offseason. Now, I'm not saying I don't want DeVonta Smith. I want to be attached to this offense still, but understand he's a little more feast or famine than probably people were hoping, right? He's a little more boom bust. So the question now becomes, Mike, knowing that he's boom bust, he is also named Cache, although attached to a good offense. Mike, we're talking about Nico Collins being attached to a great quarterback and whatever the hell this second piece is. So now, apprehensive or not, where are you at?
It's definitely a late second too. Dayseeker is the 2 seed at this point. So you're talking the 211.
Okay.
211, 212, and Nico Collins or DeVonta Smith.
I'm asking you first. I will give you my answer. I promise you.
This is DeVonta Smith for me.
Really? Okay.
I'm gonna take Smitty.
There's no. Well, eventually there will be, but there's not necessarily a right or wrong answer today. So just give me why. Give us why. Like, talk us through it.
I will take Smitty because I've seen him go on these, even with AJ Brown,
elite runs.
right?
Yeah, I got you.
Elite runs. Like,
I'm
talking like wide receiver 1 overall. Nico Collins, I've seen a few games here and there throughout this season, but it's taken 3 fucking years for me to get there, right?
Why?
Why has it taken 3 years for me to get there? Because he hasn't had
Davis Mills.
He doesn't have Davis Mills. I've seen DeVonta Smith do this with Carson Wentz. I've seen him do it with Jalen Hurts.
I was told not that long ago Carson Wentz is a great quarterback.
Carson Wentz was a great quarterback. Fuck you.
I'm just,
But I've seen him do it with Jalen Hurts, who I think we can all agree at various points in his early part of his career very, very much struggled to throw the football. Like, specifically, he could not throw the football to the right. I don't know why that was a thing, but he could not fucking do it. Left, he was fine. Right, he was terrible. Smitty, I've just kind of seen it, even with A.J. Brown there. Like, we saw it last year at the end of the year. Dallas Goedert out. A.J. Brown was producing, but DeVonta Smith was on, like, a whole nother fucking level where you're like, holy Santa Claus shit. Like wide receiver 1 overall level. I've yet to see Nico Collins do that through 3 years. I've seen DeVonta Smith do it. Even if C.J. Stroud is there, I think I'm probably just going to go with DeVonta Smith. Maybe this is homerism, Adam. Maybe it is. But
what I'm going to tell you is
a late second and Nico Collins are a guy who I've seen be basically the wide receiver 1 overall for a stretch. Like, I'm just going to go with the wide receiver 1 overall.
All right.
In a start.
Are you? Listen. You gave me shit when I told everyone on start sit, with the playoffs potentially on the line, to start Nico Collins over Ja'Marr Chase.
I did.
After he beat Ja'Marr Chase, when Ja'Marr Chase went off with a backup quarterback, you gave me shit again.
I did.
Fine. I can take it. I can stomach that. Listen, I tell everyone, talk as much shit as you want to me. I'm used to it. But you know what, Mike? You leave Nico fucking Collins out of this. You stop bestorching the name of Nico Collins. Currently, right now, look at the whole season in this league. Wide receiver 9 for the season. Let's filter it down. Let's not use the past, right? Let's go right now. 11 to 13. You know where this man stands? Wide receiver 5. He's on the only line that's elite that is not Tyreek Hill. Hey, listen, you want to add to go get worse at Warp? You fucking do that. I want to win. I'm not adding my late second to get worse at Warp. The fuck are we doing here, Dazed? Listen, this is no longer about you, buddy. Welcome to South Harmon. But just know, when Mike's wrong, and you're a part of that today, you gonna hear it. You gonna fucking hear it from the big guy. And this is one of the things I want to just highlight this point. I am all about tearing up in a lineup start 10 league. A late second, Mike, I'll throw that around like it's frankly nothing. I don't care. I'll lose a late second like it's nothing. But to me, this does not make sense. Tank Dell, I don't know if this is before or after the Tank Dell injury too, but Tank Dell's out. We got Nico Collins with CJ Stroud looking like a fucking alpha plus. Why am I'm tearing up to, I'm not getting AJ Brown. I'm tearing up to the beta in Philly? Stop it. What do you have to say? Say something. Say something. I'm giving up on you.
Listen, I could pull up these things called the South Harmon fantasy ranks, dynasty ranks, and see that Adam still has DeVonta Smith at 14.
Sure.
And Nico Collins at 44.
For sure. And guess what? What was that? So that's, if we want to go out of context, I'll oblige. I'll do it. I was in New York when I last updated the ranks. Koopa actually had to help me do it because I'm not very Excel savvy. So Koopa, listen, I'm sorry. You did a lot for us, but I'm dragging you down with me, okay? And this is during the time when we're concerned about Nico Collins. I just told you, shit shifts. And guess what? When shit shifts, it shifts big time. Mike, before that, I redid those rankings about a month ago. Somebody had my mom as the number one wide receiver in my rankings. All right, so it was in there. Deebo Samuel was one, but my mom was in like the top 12 somehow. So
your mom was top 20. She's a sweetheart.
This is how when my wife and I are like this. Like I say 10 minutes to somewhere, she's like 12. Fine, you went. You're right.
Dorothy
it was top
Mantooth
20.
is a saint. That's what matters.
Yeah, and what you know what matters? We can discuss my ranks. Listen, I will sell you my ranks. I'm not going to try to act like they're the best thing in the world. Okay. What I will tell you is that Koopa's warp is the only warp you ever needed. I don't care what the off brand is. I don't care what other brands are out there. It's not this tool. This tool is about as good as gold, and it tells me everything I need to know that Nico Collins is the option without a pick for the rest of the year in a sprint to go win a title. Fuck that second. And you can keep your beta receiver in Philly. I'm going to take Nico Collins.
Jesus. Fizzle? Is that you? Fizzle?
Listen, they wrote me off, and I didn't write back.
I apologize, DeVonta Smith truthers. He's the correct choice here. But Adam, good on you. Good on you. I'm proud of you.
I'm genuinely asking though, Mike. Seriously, all right, you're gonna still say DeVonta Smith. I have no idea what. Like, if I'm going to up tier, I'm fine to up tier. Why would I up tier to a guy that has not given me warp in the last 3 weeks? Than the option I already have, and for the season, than the option I already have. Why am I adding a second round pick to do that? Like, you want to up tier, go up tier. Like, get rid of your second round pick. I could care less about that in a lineup start 10. I have no problem sending it, but this deal does not personally for me make sense other than if you're worried about the long-term game, which then I have a big problem because I don't care. I want to play right now. I'm playing right now to win this league. So, Dayseeker, this is not a you could end up making this deal. Nico's unsure long-term. I'm not telling you you did a horrible thing in values and dynasty values. For just the timing of this deal right now, when a playoff push to me, it's just not the way I would like to move this second-round pick. I'd rather move it for something that truly gives me an upgrade or fills a hole some way better. I personally don't think I can predict for the next 4 weeks that there's any difference in these guys in warp other than what I know, which is Nico's a little better in warp. Like that's the way I view it right now.
I think that's probably fair. I'm just looking at it from the long-term standpoint. I'd much rather have DeVonta. But
Why?
I get it.
You
I get
can't-
what you're saying.
You can't get on your high horse all these other trades and talk about I want to win right now, and now you're going to give me the long term.
It's different at wide receiver, especially when you're talking to youthful guys.
You know what's different?
What's
The fucking bag. Give me the bag. You guys can have the future. I want the money. I've heard this from people that win leagues. I don't know who this guy is any longer. I don't know if it's the sauce or the what happened, but I want my best friend back. All right. What happened? What happened? Where'd you go? The long term again at the end here.
Oh.
Dave Seeker, by the way, I whether you like my going off or Mike's side, I hope you know that's probably the most animated we've ever been on a new patron trade to the trade show. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it at least at the slightest.
I hope everybody enjoyed this trade show. It's been a good one. Adam and I have done a metric fuck ton of content today. This Wednesday for us has been ridiculous.
4 shows today.
I got like boils on my ass. I don't know. Do you call them boils?
I don't call them anything. They're on my ass, buddy. We leave that alone.
I'm 3 12 ounces of fucking vodka deep at this point. Who gives a shit?
That's fair.
Boils, right? Whatever it is.
We got it done though. It's currently 1:15.
We did?
We got it done. It's currently 1:15 on Thursday, which means
Which
this
is
Wednesday
perfect
night.
because
Right?
if you tapped into the AMA on Wednesday night, which we did right before this, we came on. We talked about how this is the perfect week for you to take your wife, your significant other, out for a night on the town, or just maybe stay at home and Redbox a movie, or go to Amazon Prime and buy one of these motherfuckers and not watch this fucking dog shit game.
Listen, this is where you use strategery, right?
Shout out George W. Bush.
Yeah, you use a little strategery, and listen, I feel like you and your significant other, you and your wife, I feel like we deserve a night, and I'm gonna go ahead and just forgo Thursday Night Football tonight. You don't have to. You don't have to oblige and give her all the information. You give her what you need to tell her. Like, it's not that Bailey Zappi's playing Mr. Trubisky. It's not that she cared nothing about this game. You owe it to her to give her a little time. And guess what? It's strategery, because you know what's coming around the corner? Sunday. You got to get to the dance. You got to pay attention on Sunday. And guess what's going to happen every day after that? Your fucking life depends on these games for the next 3 weeks. It's going to be busy. Give her Thursday, man. Go ahead and make that 4D. Some might call it a 50 move, but anyway, I digress. That's the trade show. Let us know what you thought, especially the last deal. A little animated. You want Nico in the second or a late second, 24, or do you want the Smith side? And also on the other deals, let us know what you think. Are you a Mark Andrews believer, or do you not really care about tight end? Are you an A-Warp guy, right?
Let us know what you think about Jahmyr Gibbs. Is he built different because of age and like how he plays the game? Is he an asset at the running back position you'll look at for multiple years, right? Usually for running backs, we're just looking at 2023. What can you give me now? If you die in 2024, no one cares. We kind of look at the Ivan Drago. If he dies, he dies.
Yep.
We kind of plan on all of them dying in 24. But Jahmyr Gibbs, is he different? Let us know what you think about him, and if you're willing to go out and acquire him, for especially for what Adam did, like going out and sending those picks.
Yeah, you're going to send I mean, you can debate like what exactly it is, but you don't have to send 2 first. You can look at league format. I don't know if people probably don't play a lot in those type of formats where it's receiver scoring's down, tight end premium is not much, running back scoring's boosted, so that can sway things. But point is, are you willing to pay above market or at least market on Jahmyr Gibbs? Are you willing to pay the premium for a running back position that's kind of dead? Are you willing to go get the soldier, the different one? Pay up for it. Let us know in the comments. If not, we'll take it in the comments too. That's okay. Before you do any of that, if you're new to the channel, if you stuck it out to this point, please go down, hit the subscribe button. Comment away, tell us we're terrible. Whatever you want to tell us we both, should lay off the sauce. Anything that you want to. But just subscribe. It helps us out tremendously. And we will see you back here, same time, same place, next week for the Dynasty Trade Show. We are out of this thing. Peace.
Love y'all. Peace.